The first thing you need to know to be able to do dimensional analysis are some simple math rules. Some simple math rules. So the first rule is really simple. If I were to say 5 times 1, what would that obviously be? Well, hopefully you all know 5 times 1 is 5. What about 2 times 1? Well, that's 2. So this is what I mean when I say simple math rules. We've got 1 times 1. Well, that equals 1. X times 1 equals X. And 2 feet times 1 equals 2 feet. So here's the first rule for ourselves. Nothing changes when you multiply a number by 1. That is the first rule for today. Nothing changes when you multiply a number by 1. Second rule, 5 divided by 5. 5 over 5 equals 1. Can we all agree with that? Okay. 8 divided by 8 equals 1. 5,233 divided by 5,233 equals 1. If you don't believe me, we can type it in our handy dandy calculator and we can check our math. 5,233, do this, divided by 5,233 equals 1. Yes. Therefore, x divided by x equals 1. This is true because 5 equals 5, 8 equals 8, 5,233 equals 5,233, and of course x equals x. This is the second rule you need to understand to be able to do dimensional analysis effectively. What is the rule? Any number divided by itself is 1. It's pretty simple rules. The last one can be a little bit tricky at first, but it's nonetheless just as simple. If I were to say, okay, 7 times the fraction 3 over 7. Let's see what we get. 7 times 3 over 7. We get 3. Okay, equals 3. What if I tried 5 times the fraction 4 over 5? What do we get? So we say 5 times the fraction 4 over 5. We get 4. Do you notice something? We're getting the number on top of our fraction. Well, that's because I'm multiplying by 7 and dividing by 7 in the same problem. They cancel out. I'm multiplying by 5 and I'm dividing by 5 in the same problem. They cancel out. Therefore, if I were to say something like x times y over x. That would equal y. X cancels out. And if I were to say something like inches times centimeters over inches, inches cancels and I'm left with centimeters. This rule says if you multiply and divide by the same number, if you multiply and divide by the same number, that number cancels out, which makes way too much sense. I cannot stress this enough when I say simple math rules. A very important note to this rule is this is also true for units and variables. As we saw with inches and centimeters. This is also true for inches and variables.